If you're living with the idea that the only way to make $100,000 a year as an author is to have a huge audience, then let me explain where your ideas may not be quite correct. You don't need a huge audience to make that amount of money per year. You need to have a loyal one. Today, I want to talk about something that causes a lot of unnecessary stress for writers, especially newer ones. And that is the idea that you need a massive audience to make a decent living as an author. You really don't. There, I said it. In fact, chasing a huge audience is often the wrong goal entirely, because what you actually need is a loyal audience. And once you understand the difference between the two, the whole idea of building an author career becomes a lot more realistic and honestly a lot less intimidating. And I just want to say to any of my readers who are watching this, thank you for being part of the most amazing group of readers that an author can have, because I know many of you have been with me for 13 years and more. 13 years. 13 years. And that's pretty incredible. But anyway, back to the video. The 1,000 true fans idea came from it was a concept that's actually been around for quite a long time. And the idea is very simple. If you have 1,000 readers who genuinely love your work and are happy to spend around $100 a year on what you create, then there's your $100,000 a year. You don't need millions of followers. You definitely don't need to go viral. Gosh, I've never been viral, but never mind. You don't need to be everywhere all the time. You need people who care about your stories and trust that when you release something new, it's going to be worth their time and money. Now, that's a very different goal, but it's also a lot more achievable. One of the problems that people have if they focus on audience size is that it often pushes writers into doing things that don't actually serve their long-term career. You might chase trends that you don't enjoy, or they're jumping genres constantly, chasing those trends. And then they panic when one book doesn't sell as well as the last. Yeah. And all of that makes it harder to build the trust with your readers, because readers don't want randomness. They want to know what they're getting from you. A loyal reader is one of those people who thinks, oh, this author's got a new book out. I don't even have to read the blurb, I'm in. And this kind of loyalty doesn't come from volume. It comes from consistency. The first step, obviously, is to write good stories, because that really matters. And I know it might sound obvious, but it does need to be said. None of this whole process works if the stories themselves don't deliver. Now, this doesn't mean that your writing has to be perfect. Lord knows mine isn't. You don't need to win any literary awards. I never have. But what you do need to do is respect your reader. And that is something I do. That means you're giving them a satisfying story. You are giving them characters that feel real. And you are giving them a beginning, a middle, and an end that actually makes sense. Readers can be incredibly forgiving of a lot of things, especially in genre fiction. Ask them about the fact that I rarely write a standalone because I'm apparently not capable of it. And I have a number of quirks. But my readers love that about me. What they won't forgive is feeling like their time is wasted. If a reader finishes your book and feels satisfied, they're far more likely to come back. And that's the first brick in building loyalty. The second step is consistency. And this is where a lot of writers accidentally sabotage themselves. Consistency matters in two ways: your niche and your quality. So let's talk about the niche first. if you write something like Cozy Mysteries and then suddenly release a dark horror novel, yeah, you're not expanding your audience, you're confusing the audience you had. Readers come to you for a specific experience. Like with Lisa Oliver books, for example, I've said it many times. They come for the fact that they're character-driven stories that allows the readers to really feel like they're in my characters' lives, and my stories always guarantee you a smile at the end of them. It's sort of like the Lisa Oliver brand, and it is my branding. Your readers come to you for a specific experience. They know what things you like to write about. They know what things you won't write, because readers do have very specific expectations, and there are things they will not read, even if it's got your name on it. So they want to feel a certain way when they read your books. And if you keep changing what you offer, they can't build trust with you as an author. It doesn't mean that you can never write anything else. But if you're trying to build a loyal readership, then being clear about what you write and when is really, really important. Now, your quality consistency is just as important, of course. Readers don't expect every book to be the best book ever, but they do expect a minimum baseline. They want to know that when they buy your next story, it'll feel like it belongs on the same shelf as the last one. That's what creates that feeling of safety. And safety is a part of loyalty. A loyal reader isn't suddenly wondering, will this one be disappointing? Because they already trust you. If somebody picks up a Lisa Oliver book, they're going to know for a start that there's never any cheating in it, because I will not write that. Those sorts of things are subtle, but they're really important when it comes to building a loyal reader, or building a brand that readers can trust. And this is another reason why series fiction works so well for authors. And I have talked about series. I always recommend that authors write series, because a series helps keep readers emotionally invested. And then in that respect, it encourages repeat purchases, and it makes it easy for readers to know what to read next. On my blog, for example, I have got a list of, like, a reading order, so people can see, oh, well, if they read this series, it's this, and then if they read this one, it's this. And I don't have a lot of crossover and overlap. But if readers are confused about that, like between my Cloverleaf series and my Gold series, there is a bit of an overlap. Then I will say, oh, hey, well, then if you read this far of the Cloverleaf series, then this is where the God series starts. And then the Cloverleaf series goes this way and the God series goes this way. Things like that. But once a reader finishes a book and they enjoy it, the barrier to buying another book is really low, because they already know the world, they already know the characters, and they already care. So having a series doesn't just help with sales, they actually help with retention. And that retention is what turns a casual reader into a more loyal one. Of course, along with that is your publishing schedule. And this is another area where writers often underestimate the reader's perspective. Readers don't see your writing life. They don't know what's going on in your life behind the scenes. All they know is they enjoyed your book and they want the next one. And if months or years go by with no updates, and I've seen this happen, readers don't assume that you're busy. They assume you've stopped writing. And unfortunately, once a reader has mentally moved on, it can be really hard to get them back. You don't need to publish constantly, and you definitely don't need to burn yourself out, but having a predictable rhythm really helps. Now, for you, it might be 1 book a year, 2 books a year, 4 books a year. For me, it's more like 10 to 12, but you want to have a regular release pattern within a series. consistency builds confidence, and that is what you're looking for. That's what you want your reader to have in you. Another way to help with this is having communication with your readers. Don't just put a book out into a void, expect your readers to find it, and then expect them to keep hanging on, waiting for the next one, with no update from you, whether you're even writing it. Now, you don't need to overshare and you don't need to be on every platform, but readers do appreciate being kept in the loop. They like knowing that you're still writing. They like to have an idea when the next book is coming out. And if there is a delay, then tell them why. It's so easy. You make a post. Bing, you tell them. This turns your readers into partners more than customers. And people are far more patient about those delays, and life happens when they feel respected. A simple newsletter update or a social media post can be the difference between a reader waiting happily and a reader forgetting that you exist. Another thing that I don't think a lot of authors realize is that loyal readers do want to support the authors they love. They are happy to buy new releases, to hit the pre-order button. They're happy to grab special editions or support Patreons or memberships, and they will recommend your books to their friends. But they can only do this if they trust your work and if they know what you offer and they know that consistency, and if they know you're still there. And that is how that $100 a year per reader happens, not through pressure or constant promotion, but through relationships had with the people who care about your work. So no, I don't want you to feel that you need to have a huge audience to make a healthy income as an author. You do need good stories. You do need consistent quality, and you need to be consistent about your niche. You do need to publish regularly, or at least keep clear lines of communications open to explain why you can't. Focus on the readers who already love what you do and treat them well by keep showing up, and they will stay with you. Thank you, my lovely readers who do that. 1,000 loyal readers isn't a fantasy, it's a strategy. And it is one that rewards steadiness, care, and craft, not noise. But what do you think? If this has helped, let me know in the comments. If you're working towards building your own loyal readership, I'd love to hear where you are in that journey. For those of you new here, I post long-form content on Mondays and Thursdays relating to writers. And then on Saturdays, I do chapter readings of my own work. This is for my readers and to help boost my watch hours, although, of course, anybody can watch them. I will get this channel monetized one day. But anyway, I also answer every comment. So please just let me know how you're doing in the comments below. And until next time, keep writing, my friends. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.